when it hits, how we go for time? Yeah, okay, so I gotta keep going. I mean, part of me wants to just take a class on each one, but we'll have more to do, and we have to come around. We're just at the edge of the ocean here. So progressed sun, when it hits Pluto for me, it happened when I was fairly young. The progressed sun squared Mercury, squared Pluto, conjuncted Mercury and Mars. This is my time traveling around and then leaving home, traveling around for a few years, and then going to India, and then spending my time alone meditating. So really, as the progressed sun went along, it hit my fears, Pluto. And the angers, I left. I don't belong here. Why stay where I grew up? Nothing was good. I got to get out of there. I'm going to be in trouble. So I left home. I went out and I just kept going and surviving wherever, but I would run into difficult things and keep traveling. But my sun, my heart was running into difficult experiences that were formulating my intelligence, my understanding, and eventually it brought me to India and into deep meditation. But I had to run into some dark and deadly and frightening things as the progressed sun. The puzzle is, do you listen to God, or do you listen, is there a God or isn't there? Are you listening to outer fears and what's really going on and justifying everything you're doing? Or do you realize that that's a test? You're still supposed to hold on to your heart anyways and see how it plays out. So even when I was alone for the 13 months, I had physical problems that were going on. It was challenging me. Do I go out and get medical attention? Or do I hold on and play it here and still hold on and let's see if I can solve my own inner heart for meditation? But certainly those were very trying times. You wouldn't wish that on anybody, but everyone's going to have their 2 years when their progressed sun's going to hit that Pluto. Conjunct, square, opposed, sextile, trine is still going to bring the Pluto. It's going to empower the Pluto. Okay, now we're going to go. Okay, we didn't talk about the moon. So at the same time, the progressed sun is not the moon going around. The progressed moon phases are one thing, another. The moon phases are going on. My progressed sun's going to go from Libra to Scorpio, Sag, Capricorn. And in that period, there's going to be 3 new moons and 3 full moons and 2 eclipses of those. So they're going to mark special periods along this way, peak periods of enlightenment or waking up. But at the same time, I kind of start with the sun square the moon. So as it goes along, it's not till it gets up to another time, about 85, 90, in there that the moon will oppose my sun. The sun will oppose my moon. Well, by that point, that's going to challenge health, where I'm living, what am I doing, what's happening. My sun is going one way, but it's my moon up in the 11th. I figured friends and needing friends, being out with needing people around, I may have to go my own way and maybe I get a home, or maybe I'm not sure where I go, but some change is going to come as that progresses. When the sun hits the moon, your past and your future, all your memories are challenged by your soul and your purpose in your heart. So your heart's moving along. Your memories are trying to come up and interpret. Well, this means this, but I had this, but I had this. All our memories, our feelings, our needs for security. Oh, but I need to have this, but oh, but mom did this, or my kids did this, so I lost my kid, or I didn't bring up my kid, or this will happen. All these memories are flowing around, and they've accumulated. Now, this can happen when you're very young. It can happen at any age in your life, but at the time it does, it puts a powerful importance on the feelings of moods and needs and family and your memories and your past. Well, the reason it's bringing up to make it so important is so that you realize it's not so important. It's your heart that's more important than all those memories. You're not your memories. That's why look out the back of the boat when you're going forward. The moon's just sitting there, and that 11th, that's a progressed sun's the boat driving through. So anything to do with family, memories, past can come up around it and be empowered. You think maybe I should go back home. Maybe I should go back. Maybe I should move and move back. So like, but really, it's not where you're living. It's how you're developing. It's about your disciplines, about what you can do. But it's bringing up the past of the moon and memories and feelings and securities and insecurities. And the sunlight of the sun is empowering it and bringing up and shining light on it. And as if it shines it properly, how do you not look at the light? How do you keep looking at the clouds of the memories and the thoughts and the worries? So the worries come up, but the worries are exactly the things that come up that force you to have to pray, meditate, go deeper, and get beyond the worries. Okay, it's very late, but we'll still, let me talk about the square to the sun. Right? Like everybody's going to get the square to their sun at 90 in a year or so. So if they live that far, otherwise you're going to get sextile or trine, or you might get the 40. You could see the 45 degrees. You could break it down more. But the sun empowering the sun, that's your soul empowering your ego. Whoa. You can be so sure you have to be a certain way. You can't put up with this, can't be. And at the same time, you haven't let go of other things to find an inner importance. It's really a culmination of a life, that 90 degrees, that sun to sun. Can you go down that river of life and reach the ocean of soul or ocean of oneness? Can you get there gracefully? Often our sense of importance and our egos break down if there's an ego left, but there are a lot of old crystallized characters out there in their 90s, but usually they got through this test and they have a greater sense of confidence about their inner presence or their inner life. I'm living this way. This is what's important to me, and it challenges what's important, but it can bring out your ego really strongly in counteraction to fighting the spiritual side of you. I mean, by the time you're 90, you're one breath away from the grave, but you might get another 5 or 10 years. How functional it'll be, who knows what it'll be. It's going to be difficult to see. And most of the great works you're going to do have gotten out of you, and it's more a question of being able to be aligned to your heart and let things go and pass them on that way. But this puzzle between the ego and the world, and getting the ego and the world being charged by the progressed sun, being charged up and acting on it. But the acting on it can be good or bad, successful, pathetic, and eventually the soul's going to say, "Oh, yeah, that was really a trip. Well, time to move on. It's not looking back." Why hold on to the past memories or the past failures or successes? They were just experiences you got to get you here. And if you're being angry and mad, you're not letting any room for this inner light to come through. What a loss. Now, the last thing I wanted to point out, and I'm going to go quickly through everyone's chart here just after this, is that usually there's going to be, your sun is only going to go 90 degrees. It's going to go across one angle of your chart. So it's going to go through 3 houses, 4 houses, and that's where your main inner concerns are going to evolve and develop. So no matter what I did with career-wise, there was things out in the world, I was concerned with my values, what I was thinking, how I was expressing, where I was going, what security was, where I was living, how I could perform and be creative. It was really my sun goes down to the icy, crosses the icy, the personal motivation. It goes deep around home, family, personal motivation, and it's not a rational thing about status and career. It's where I'm coming from. So most of my chart took me into this battle when I was young, into the progressions to the sun, to the Saturn, Pluto, Mercury, Mars, got past that. And then it got in to test, well, how did that affect my motivation? How am I going to live for this? I mean, what's the puzzle? What's too much faith? What's enough faith? What's enough belief? How can one live dedicated enough life? It's never dedicated enough. I always could do better. But there was a drive in me to pay attention to these things more than the status of career. I had other things were not taking the same. I was losing in other battles because my attention was not so much about the social situations as it was where I was coming from. Really, after spending the year alone, ever since then, I've been trying to figure out what happened. If I look back, no matter what's happened, it goes back to there. But this really was it affect my integrity, motivation. How am I going to live from here? What am I going to do from here? So my progressive was going down to teach me eventually how to live with my soul, how to live with my inner peace, and then how to allow it to grow more. So to me, that was it was intense, but it really was waking me up again. More alive to the inner and more refreshed than not. So, okay. What we did, we started with the sun, we see the 90 degrees, there's going to be a sequence of how the planets are hit. Mine started with Jupiter, went to Mercury, Pluto, Saturn, Mars, or Saturn, Mercury, Pluto, Mars, hit all of those, then went forward, hit the Venus, then the Moon. So it goes through a sequence of which planet hit which level of consciousness gets empowered first. And as you're getting empowered, how silly against to think I'm so empowered when God, it's all part of the higher play. Okay, now, so I'm just going to use example of everybody in the webinar. I just took the charts. I don't know who's who, but we're just going to look at it because I want to show you, here's some of their sun in the 10th house. Okay, in Cancer, sun's in the 10th house. Status, career, they're going to accomplish, want to accomplish things, want to have respect that it costs them in their life. And as they're accomplishing that and building that up, and that's the empowered, the authority, the status, the positions, these are important. That progress sun's moving along through Cancer into the house of friends and enemies. I got this position, I need to have my friends inside this position. I'm going to do things, be creative for others, do things for others while I'm in this position of authority, because everybody's going to know who I am and I can do these things. And then eventually that progress sun gets down into the 12th house. It's going to go through Leo, it's going to go down through the 12th house. I'm looking for something else here. 1 second, did I do it? Oh, I got to see where we are here. I knew I forgot it. Okay, Mercury retrograde. So, okay, I got to bring something else up into this equation. Just give me a second. Russians down to there. Bear with me, we'll get there. I'll pull these out and then we can. Okay, here we go. Sample 2. This is what I want.